My name is Charlotte. I was in a relationship that was really abusive. He would be physically, verbally, emotionally abusive. He would be really controlling. He would always think that I'm cheating on him. He would always be accusing me of being certain places or being with certain people when I wasn't. Every week we would be arguing or we'll be breaking up. Especially when the weekends came, Fridays or Saturdays, we would end up going out, drinking, smoking, and even sometimes doing drugs. This made him even more violent. He turned into someone else that I didn't recognize, and I would be trapped in his room where it was just me and him, and he would just go crazy. At the time, I felt trapped, and I knew what I was in or what I was going through wasn't right. But at the same time, I didn't want to leave because I didn't want to be lonely. I didn't want to be left without someone to go to or to speak to. I knew I didn't deserve what I was going through, but it was the fear of being by myself or the fear of not having someone with me. I realized my value as a woman and how I should be treated, and especially through this one group called Rehab. It's a women's group that deals with women that's been abused and that's been through relationship problems. Through this group, I was healed and transformed and found the strength to move on, to realize what I was holding inside of me, what I needed to change about myself so that I can realize my value. Charlotte today is stronger. I'm free. I have hope for the future, for my future relationship that I will have. I've also taken part in other events. For example, the Love School that we had last year, and I learned a lot, and I took this on board and placed it into my life, and it works. It's transformed me and has prepared me for my future relationship.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's Finding Answers. Now, tonight's topic is about living with someone with a terminal illness. I haven't had this experience, and I hope that I never will have this experience. But if you are or you have a relative with a terminal illness, you know how hard it can be looking after a relative who was one day maybe very active, very healthy, but then over time you've seen your relative reduced to nothing. That's hurtful, isn't it? It's a pain. It's to see. It can cripple you, but you know, you try to be strong for your family and for that relative. And guess what? I've noticed people who are suffering, who are bedridden, who know that in a few years' time that they're going to die, they are a lot stronger sometimes than family members themselves. I don't know if you've noticed that, but from what I've seen, though they know that their time is up, but you know, they are strong. You don't see a person break down. You don't see them cry. Actually, they are strong, and they want their family, they want friends to also be strong. Because if you break down, if you show, you know, your real emotions and feelings in front of them, it doesn't help. So that's the topic tonight. And I want to go straight to opening the lines now and inviting you who may have a relative who has a terminal illness. Maybe you're a carer who cares for people maybe in a home, or you have family or friends who have this illness, and I would like to find out from you, how are you coping? Because maybe there are people who feel alone out there watching this program now, and they would like some support. Tonight's testimony is a young lady who I've known for about, let's say, 8 or so years, a bit longer than that. But I didn't know until today, actually, what happened to her. But she made an amazing recovery, and you're going to find out later on about this. She could have lost her life. However, today she's healthy, she's alive, and she's in the studio with me tonight. If you would like to call in with your ideas, with your comments about this topic, you want to share your experience, then feel free to do so. I have Victoria with me tonight. Hi, Victoria, again.
Hello again.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
So, what's the contact details then for people who want to call in?
Absolutely. So if you'd like to call in, we've got people waiting to call to speak to you at any time. The number is 020 7686 6300. Or if you'd like to send us an email, I'm happy to read that out live on air, and the address is help@findinganswers.tv. Or you can send us a tweet if you like, a short message, a comment, or maybe even a question for our guest. The address is @findanswerstv, or you can find us on Facebook and just like our page and comment on anything that we say, and also just ask us anything that you like.
So Victoria normally has some stats, right, with us. So what have you got today, Victoria?
Well, this one is quite a difficult one because terminal illness is such a broad subject. But I did find that 7.5 million people each year are diagnosed with a terminal illness.
Yeah, that ranges from what?
Everything.
Everything.
From cancer to degenerative disorders, just the whole spectrum, 7.5 million.
7.5 million.
Yeah.
Look, if you're one of those 7.5 million, then you heard what Victoria said. Get on the line, email us, tweet, do whatever you need to do, because help is at hand. As I said at the beginning of the program, I don't have this experience of living or caring for someone with a terminal illness, but I've had family members who were near death, who were in a hospital bed in intensive care, and guess what? Prayer worked. Prayer helped my relative, my family members, to recover when doctors had no hope. And at the end of the program, as usual, we'll be praying for you. And I would like you to get your glass of water here, because this simple glass of water that we always bless can be the way for you or that relative to be healed. You may say, Michael, you know, you're crazy. Don't be stupid. The doctors have said there's nothing that they can do. The doctor said the same thing in my mother's case, in my grandfather's case, but they are alive and kicking today. So, crazy I might be, but if you haven't used or done what I'm telling you to do, which is use faith, which is what you have. You have faith. Everyone has a faith, but I'm asking you to use something called supernatural faith, to go beyond the normal faith that everyone has. And you don't need to be religious. You don't need to be a Christian necessarily. You just need to believe that what seems impossible can be made possible. So, during the break, get your glass of water ready, because I'll be praying for it, this water, and I'll ask you to do something, not just drink it, but I'll ask you to do something else with this water at the top of the program, at the end of the program. All right? We're going to go for a quick break, and we'll be back to hear tonight's testimony. We'll see you after this break.
The UCKG Helpline Call Centre is open 24 hours a day, every day of the week, all year round. If you need help due to a serious problem you may be going through, if you feel that you have nowhere to turn to and desperately need someone to lend a listening ear, then we can help you. It doesn't matter who you are or what you have done, your religion or race, your call will be answered by someone who genuinely cares about you and has your best interests at heart. We also arrange home visits for the housebound and hospital visits for anyone in great need of kindly human contact. Whether it is simply information you want or desperately need someone to talk to, we're here for you on 0207 686 6000.
Hi, the Chrissy B Show airs live on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, coming to your homes with entertainment, life issues as well as hard-hitting topics, coupled with friendly and practical advice. I love to look at the happier side of life and believe a person can achieve amazing things when they put their mind to it. The Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life.
You who have an infirmity in your body, perhaps someone in your family who is sick, your family, not physically sick, but your family as a unit is sick because there's no unity there. Maybe your financial life is sick. Maybe, I don't know, your life is not moving forward. We will be blessing the bread and the water so you can eat and drink of it in faith. Have with you this Friday in the program, there when you watch us, a loaf of bread and a bottle of water. Because the Word of God says that God will bless our bread and our water and remove infirmity from the midst of us.
Hello and welcome back to Finding Answers. This evening the topic is living with a terminal illness. Now here's a short video that explains the reactions of family members to being told that they have somebody, a loved one, close to them who has a terminal illness. Today, having a loved one live with a terminal diagnosis for an extended period of time is fast replacing sudden and unexpected death as the norm. The result of this is that death has become less and less a sudden and unexpected occurrence. Because the nature of death and dying has changed so dramatically, the way we grieve has also changed. This new grief differs from traditional grief in significant ways. The process has the potential to alter lifestyles and forces families to confront issues that would usually be dealt with after the death of a loved one. It can easily evoke issues from the past that were never fully resolved. Psychologists at Harvard University state that there are 5 stages of grief that you go through when a loved one is diagnosed with a terminal illness. Stage 1, crisis. When the diagnosis is made, it creates a crisis for the family. This upsets the family equilibrium. Feelings experienced may be guilt, resentment, or anger. Stage 2, unity. In this stage, the needs of the dying become most important. The major issue here is how they will define their roles in the process. People often find themselves regressing into roles they played in years earlier, such as when they were children or adolescents. Stage 3, upheaval. In this stage, there is potential for the family to fall apart. The roles outlined in the previous stage could wear thin, and some family members may even experience ambivalence. Stage 4, resolution. During this stage, the family members find themselves having more memories of past experiences. Some of these memories may evoke feelings of joy or nostalgia, or even jealousy, envy, or shame and embarrassment. Stage 5, renewal. This final stage begins with the funeral and the celebration of the life of the now lost family member. This is a time of mixed emotions, including both sadness and relief. As much as this stage is a time of remembrance, it's also a time for looking forward to revitalising relationships and to new family traditions.
So you see a whole host of emotions that a family and an individual faces when someone is diagnosed with a terminal illness, from the diagnosis up until the actual funeral. So a lot going on there, and it can have an effect, a big effect on an individual and the family.
Yeah, there's a lot of research going on actually into the reaction of the family and how different grief is compared to a sudden death. So you do actually start grieving even though the person is still alive. Mm-hmm. And the family have all different types of dynamics. They change, they shift, they can get angry with each other, they can get upset, they become embarrassed. So a whole host of really emotional feelings.
You know, in my experience of knowing people who have lost relatives, not just by terminal illness, but all kinds of things. Normally there's a regret, yeah. Right? I wish I could have done more. I wish I could have said, I loved you more. I wish we could have done this. I wish we could have done that. And I think that's one of the biggest things as well, right? I wish I could have spent more time. And you know, while we have the time now, it's good that we spend that time with our family, whether they have a terminal illness or not, right? So don't just wait until bad news strikes. Do something. You know, heal the wounds. You know, put aside your differences and be one. Be united, right? Do something, especially now that maybe you know that your relative doesn't have long to live. So be with your family, be with your relatives, right? And that time shared with them, of course, it's hard, it's painful, but you know, when they pass away, things won't be so hard on you and on the family, because you know those last few weeks, months, years were time well spent. But enough of the negative talk. We're going to pray at the end of the program. So I want you to see now my guest tonight. Her name is Chantal Lillian. Let's have a look.
Pushing me for the rest of the week, so it's like a boost.
Things were really tight.
Today, the way I see myself is completely different.
Chantal Lillian. Hi, Chantal. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Yes. So I've known you since 2006, right?
Yes.
And life for you was okay health-wise, right?
Yes.
You never had any serious problems health-wise?
No.
No?
No.
So, but something happened in 2011.
Yes, it did.
Right? Tell us, share with us what happened.
Basically what happened, I was at work and I blacked out, but I was told I had a seizure by my colleagues. And from that moment on, I had a very, very bad headache. And when my boss got to know about it, she sent me home. So I went home. And when I got home, I was complaining about the headache still. And throughout the night, so Mom had to phone the church. And when she phoned the church, she was asked to get a glass of water.
Hold on a minute, let's stop there. We're going to talk about that in a minute.
Okay.
You blacked out.
Yes.
You didn't know what happened?
No.
Were you eating really bad, not exercising? Was your lifestyle really bad?
No, it wasn't. I was having my breakfast, having my lunch, dinner. Yes.
So there was no reason for you to have this blackout?
No, there wasn't.
Did you go for checkups at your doctor's?
I used to go to the GP, but no like a thorough checkup.
So how long did you have these headaches for?
It was just that day.
Just that day?
Yes.
It came just like that?
Yes.
And you blacked out?
Yes.
You can't remember what happened, if you hit the floor?
No.
When did you come to? When did you realize what had happened?
After I'd gone to the hospital and after the operation.
Okay, so you were sent home.
Yes.
And you said that you had the headaches.
Yes.
So explain what happened when you had the headaches. Your mum was going to a church, right?
Yes.
Right. So she called. She immediately called the church.
Yes.
So why didn't she call the hospital or the ambulance or something like that?
Oh, she explained to me that she didn't know what to do. She was confused, yeah, because I was crying.
Really?
Yes. I was
crying.
And
you couldn't remember this at all?
No.
So in this panic, she called, the first thing she called was the church.
Yes.
Now, we would advise people, and we always advise people, if you are in a crisis or an emergency, the best thing to do, the first thing that you need to do is call the emergency services. We've had some funny stories where long-term time members of church, when there's a fire, when there's a leak, they call the church, right? They don't call the fire brigade, they don't call the plumber, they call the church. And probably because they're panicking, right? Because they see us so often, many times a week, that's the first person that they would, or first organization they'll think of calling. But in this case, when it comes to your health, the first people that you should call is the emergency services, right? Is the doctor, is the ambulance service. Your mum called the church?
Yes.
Okay. So, what happened when she called the church?
Once she called the church, she was asked by the person that was on the line to get a glass of water, and the person who was on the line blessed the water. And he asked her to give it to me to drink. And once I drank, she said to me, once I drank it, I slept very well. You
didn't realize what was going on?
No.
And you didn't know that you were hysterical and crying either?
No.
You can't remember this?
No.
So, after the prayer, blessing the water,
yes,
you slept well?
Yes.
And what happened with the headaches?
I have no memory of that.
You can't remember?
No.
You can't recall?
No.
So you slept well that night?
Yes,
I did. The prayer, in your opinion, your mum's opinion, it worked?
Yes.
But what happened the following days?
The following day, I had the headache again. But it was bad, and I started to cry again. So she called, her and my brother called the ambulance.
Right.
So when they called them, when they came over, they took me to the nearest hospital. That's Barnet Hospital.
Barnet?
Yes.
Okay.
And when I got there, she says they did tests on me, but they saw that they could not cope with me.
Why?
Because of the blood clot was on the brain.
So there was a blood clot on your brain?
Yes.
And what did they say? Because you didn't know what was going on.
No, I was unconscious. I don't have the memory of that at all.
So you know everything from what your mum told you afterwards?
Yes.
So your mum said, what did your mum say to you when they diagnosed or found the blood clot on your brain? What did the doctor say? The
doctor said they won't be able to handle me. They don't have the specialties to do that.
To operate?
Yes.
So what happened?
So I was taken to Royal Free Hospital because it has better facilities.
And what happened when you got there?
When I got there, they did tests on me, and they had an option to just deal with the clot without the operation. But then they said as time passed, it got severe, so they had to operate.
They operated on you?
Yes.
Tell us exactly what they did.
What they did is, because they cut this bit, the bone flap, they cut it off. And once they cut it off, this was told to me because I didn't know. This
is your skull?
Yes, the bone flap.
They cut away your skull?
Yes.
Called the bone flap?
Yes.
Right.
And Once they cut it off, it was stored in my stomach.
It was?
Stored. It was kept in my stomach.
They cut you open in your stomach?
Yes.
And put the bone there?
Yes.
Wow, I didn't know it was a storage place.
Yes, because they said, when I woke up, they said to me, keep it healthy. It's better than keeping it in the fridge or somewhere else.
Right, okay.
Yes.
So they removed that bone,
yes,
put it in your stomach to
yes.
store.
Yes.
And what did they do with the clot?
With the clot, it was removed, and they put the skin back.
Right.
Yeah, the top of the skin was put back. And they sewed me with staples.
Right.
Around the...
Staples?
Yeah,
okay.
Staples.
Yeah.
You know, the paper staples. Yeah.
And did the operation go well? Were there any complications?
No, there weren't any complications at all. There weren't. Actually, they said I was very lucky. They were saying, yes.
What was it, a 50-50, 70-30 chance of survival? What was it?
Oh, the risk was death.
Really?
Yes.
So they had to operate to at least try
yes.
to do something?
Yes.
That must have been really frightening for your mum.
All of them. My brothers, my sisters, they were frightened. Yeah.
So you got past that operation?
Yes.
When did you wake up? When did you start remembering things?
Actually, because I was in intensive care for two weeks. When I woke up.
Intensive care, we're talking tubes in your mouth.
Oh yes,
right?
many tubes.
But
everywhere.
you can't remember.
No, I don't remember.
Did your family take any pictures of you?
Yes, I have them.
Care? Yeah.
Yes.
I know what it's like because I've seen relatives of mine in hospital. Okay. I visited people, you know, in my work as a minister, and I've seen, and it's not a nice thing seeing tubes, lots of tubes, people very swollen, they don't look the same, and you know, when you see a relative of yours, a family member, with tubes coming out and making them breathe, you kind of freeze, right? Though there's that faith in God, but there's a shock in seeing that, right? A swollen body, it's like, that's not my relative, right?
Yeah. And
your family seeing that in you, I don't know, did they describe, was your face swollen, your head, how?
I was swollen the whole body. Everywhere. Especially where the bone flap was taken. I was swollen, my cheeks, my whole face was swollen.
Right.
Yes.
It's hard, as I said, but you're in intensive care for 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
And afterwards you got moved to a ward or something?
Yes, when I woke up, I was moved to a private ward. It was just me in the ward by myself. No, I was not mixed with other patients.
And was it a success, or was there still a chance that you could die?
No, there was no chance I could die.
It was
yeah, it was successful.
Relatively successful. But the thing is, during this operation, or should I say this period, you couldn't remember anything.
No.
Now, sometimes it's hard. There's that stage of the operation,
yes,
which 50-50 chance. You got past that stage.
Yes.
But then I don't know if it's worse to have the relative recover, or should I say, but not know anything, their surroundings. You didn't know your surroundings, did you?
No.
Can you describe what you remember, what you saw? Who's this lady claiming to be my mum, my brother? Describe how that was.
It was frustrating, very frustrating, because I didn't know their names. My brother, my sister, my mom. I could see faces, even my friends that came over. I could just look at them.
Could you remember them?
Yes, I could remember their faces, but
you didn't know names?
No, not at all. Not even my date of birth, or where I went to work, where I lived. I didn't have that.
Now, did the doctor say that that was normal?
He said it was not normal.
Really?
Yeah.
Strange, right?
Yeah.
So the doctors didn't have even a clue of what was going on?
Yes.
They had no assurances that, you know, you could return to a normal,
Yes.
healthy life, you know, your memory returned. They didn't have the assurance,
No.
did they? I wonder how your mum must have felt. How did she explain how she felt?
They said to me they were crying. My family were crying, but also praying. They prayed a lot.
We're going to go on to the prayer part in a minute, okay? Now, if you, as I said, you are suffering, you are hurting, you have family, friends, maybe you've come out of a situation where things aren't going so well. Doctors have lost hope, maybe friends and family are trying to be strong for you, but, you know, you're hurting inside and you want healing. And I don't just say physical healing, but the inner healing as well. Then I invite you to give us a call, all right? If you want a prayer, there is a team of pastors who will be at the end of this line now. The number's on the screen. Give us a call. And I believe that prayer works. I believe, even if you don't, but you want some sort of support, right? You want someone to just listen to you. Then they'll be there as well. But they will also offer a prayer for you. And I believe that prayer works. Prayer, I've seen prayer work in my family. I've seen prayer work in hundreds of people's lives that I've been in contact with. And prayer can also work for you. So give us a call, all right? And if you know someone who is ill, then give us their name. And at the end of the program, we'll pray mentioning those names, all right? We're going to go for a break now. We'll be back to find out how Chantal is sitting here today, well, memory back, healthy, back to work, and leading a normal life. We'll see you after this.
How does someone regain the will to live again? Let us help you.
as you've heard it before, the opposites attract, right? We are very different from each other, and those differences were what attracted us to each other in the first place. You know, you don't need more of what you have. You want something new, what you don't have. But that was the problem, because if she challenged me or wanted something that I didn't want, that was it. I would put my foot down and say, no, it's not going to be like that. It's going to be my way. And in order to punish her, I would give her this silent treatment.
That will kill me, because I know I like to talk.
Hello and welcome back to Finding Answers. This evening we're talking about living with a terminal illness. So I've been out and asked the general public how important they think it is to have family around during a time of crisis and bad news.
You know, there's no stereotype anymore.
Protect yourself, sometimes you probably do.
It will heal, but it will always...
They're humans, they have the ability to use their initiative.
Find it difficult to just be happy in this life.
Hi, I'm Victoria Edgecombe, and this evening on Finding Answers, we're talking about living with a terminal illness. So I've been out and asked the general public, how important do you think it is to have family around you during a time of crisis and bad news?
Really important. Can't cry in front of a lot of people, but you can in front of your parents.
I think not necessarily family per se, you just need kind of a shoulder to cry on. So I think generally probably good friends are more important than family.
If you got family beside you, end of the day, they will be with you forever, for life. And even though you're stuck in money ways, if you're stuck in a job, at least your family knows everyone from this country because they've been living here for years and years. So I would say family are very important to all the people to be united together.
It depends on the relationship you have with your family. For me, family would be very important just because I'm close to like my mother and my sisters. But yeah, good friends.
So you see the importance of having family around. And Victoria, when you were interviewing people on the streets, what was the you know, just a few, we had a few there. Did you interview more people, and what was like the general consensus?
It was quite interesting actually, because it was obviously a very personal viewpoint. I thought that people would say family is very important, everybody needs family. Yeah. But the guy in that in the short film actually, he said it doesn't matter who they are, as long as you have someone that could be your best friend, it doesn't necessarily have to be your family. So that was quite interesting.
I mean, especially elderly people who are, I don't know, maybe they're going through a terminal illness, Alzheimer's or cancer, they don't have any relatives around, but maybe that carer in that home is enough for them, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. You need somebody to listen to you, but also it works the other way. The family members often need to talk about it. And even though the person with the terminal illness is going through it themselves, it really is quite useful if both sides can talk about how they're feeling.
Yeah. All right. So before we go back to Chantal's story, we have a Love Answers, and it's related to this topic. So let's go to it.
I have a terminal illness. Should I give up on dating? I had always dreamt of having a nice man in my life, until I found out a year ago that I have degenerative disease that's going to be messy for any potential boyfriend out there. Both of my sisters have the same disease, and though they're quite advanced, they both have partners. My little sister's boyfriend once told me it's very hard for him seeing someone he loves on death's door.
Even though I have at least 15 years until I die, should I expect someone I love to put up with all that comes with my illness purely for my own selfish ends?
Just because you have an illness and you don't have long to live, well, you said you have 15 years to live. It doesn't mean that you stop living, right? You know, people have normally a bucket list. When they know that they're going to die, they start doing things that they never dreamt of doing, right? So they parachute jump, they visit places that they've never dreamt of visiting. They do lots of things. They want to meet famous people. So they live their lives. And part of that also means, you know, finding someone for you. It doesn't mean that you end your life, living your life, and that includes your love life, finding someone, just because the doctor diagnosed you with a degenerative illness or disease. So yes, if you feel that you would like to spend the rest of your life with someone, it's never too late. And I'm sure you will find someone who will want to be by your side. There are, you know, we see now and again stories in the news of people who marry, but then that husband or wife knows that the one that they're marrying will die in a few weeks, a few months' time. But they're willing to go through it because they love that person. So don't end your love life just because you have a health problem, a disease, right? And I want to go back to this again. I'm going to pray at the end of the program for your healing. All right, and you're going to hear now Chantal's story of how her life turned around from having or being diagnosed with a blood clot in her brain. Chantal, welcome back.
Thank you.
So before the break, you told us what happened.
Yes.
You mentioned that your skull flap, bone flap was placed in your stomach. It's stored there. You know, it wouldn't rot or anything like that. It's placed there. They removed the clot. You were okay. Your life was at risk. You could have died.
Yes.
But yet the doctors, they didn't have any assurances that you make a full recovery.
Yes.
So please tell, what was the worst point, or what was the worst time during all of this?
The worst time was because I lost strength in my right side.
Mm-hmm.
So I could not feed myself. I could not literally walk properly.
Mm-hmm.
Like around the hospital, I had to sit on a wheelchair to go and do things.
Right.
And I had my mom had to come and give me a shower. I could not do things by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And
how did you feel, knowing that you were once healthy and doing things we take for granted, but now people feeding you, having to shower you? Though it was your mum, but how did you feel?
It was frustrating.
Mm.
And sometimes when she came, I would say, no, I'll try to do it myself.
But could you do it yourself?
No, I could. It would take me an hour, 2 hours.
Uh-huh.
But when she did, it was quick. It was faster.
So that was the worst moment?
Yes.
Right? It's you losing your independence?
Yes, independence.
Okay. So let's turn now to how you found help. How Chantal is sitting here sharing her story live in the studio of Finding Answers. So how did you gain your health back?
I gained my health back through the doctors and through prayers.
Okay.
They were...
In terms of the doctors, what did they do?
The doctors, I had to go through physiotherapy, speech therapy, because I couldn't speak properly.
Really?
As well. Yes.
What, slurred speech?
Yes.
Okay.
I couldn't speak properly. And I had to learn to walk, you know, like a child learns to walk again. I had to do that. And I had to do that every morning. afternoon and evening. I'll go for these therapies.
Was it hard on your body?
Yes, very hard. It was frustrating if I could not move my feet. I had to have 2 therapists with me to help me go around the hospital, within the hospital. They had to take me to the gym, the hospital gym, to bring the strength back of my bones.
Did you ever think of giving up at any time?
No, never.
You didn't?
No.
What was your strength to keep on going?
I believe that everything's possible. If I was once healthy, I could be healthy again. Because I walked before, so I can walk again.
Now, was that because of your faith in God, or was that you,
That's
your nature?
my faith in God, my faith in God, in what I learned throughout the church.
So, what did you learn, or shall I say, what did you do spiritually in order for you to gain your healing?
What I learned, before I was discharged from hospital, my young brother asked the nurses to wake me up at 3 a.m. So he would phone the hospital and tell them to wake me up.
Did they explain why? To the
pray.
nurses?
Yes, to pray.
And they would wake you up at 3 a.m.?
Yes, they did.
Okay.
They did. I would lie in my bed or sit sometimes and make a prayer for God to renew and restore my whole body.
Right.
In my memory.
So you would ask God,
yes,
heal me.
Yes.
I want to walk again.
Yes.
What did you say in your prayer, if you remember?
I would say I want a restoration. Right. I want to be renewed. I want my body back, or even better than I was before.
Okay.
And I will ask him to revive my memory. I want to know things where my date of birth, I didn't know.
Something simple as that?
Yes, my name.
You didn't even know your name?
Things. Yes.
Right.
And the nurses would come and after hours, every day, to help me practice. And it was frustrating because they would say, oh, write your date of birth. And even if they tell it to me, I wouldn't remember it the next minute.
And what did you do? What else did you do in order for you to gain full recovery spiritually? Spiritually,
there was a purpose of faith going on within the church. And once I was in hospital, and the people that visited me brought magazines from the church. So I read them. And once I left, the week that I left, on Sunday, and the purpose was going to be fulfilled. People were fulfilling the purpose. So what I did, I had...
So you asked for your healing?
Yes,
your complete restoration?
Yes, I did. And I asked God, my request was to be renewed, restored, and complete healing. So I took everything, everything that I had in my account, because while I was in hospital, I was still getting my salary. And I had savings to buy a house. I put that in the envelope as well. And apart from that, I used to go Tuesdays.
For healing prayer?
For healing prayer, to have the water blessed, to be anointed with the holy oil. And I didn't give up.
Now, who told you to do that? Did anyone tell you to do that?
No, that was my faith.
You decided to show God your faith.
Yes.
By showing to him your act of faith. In other words, I'm gonna give this to you. I'm not paying.
Yes.
But you know, what's the point?
To keep the money
if I'm gonna be like this.
Yeah.
Right? So some people won't understand that. But that's another way of expressing your faith.
Yes.
There are people that, you know, they have a brand new house, you know, they have money to do up their house or to do something with that money, and they say, look, why am I alone? My desire is to get married, and what's the point in you know, saving up for it if I don't have anyone to share with that, you know, in this new house that I've got? So they use that money, whatever, how much it was, and they decide, God, look, I want you to prove to me now that you exist. This is what I want. I have this nice house, but I don't want to live in this house alone. So I'm going to show my faith now to you, but I want to see an answer. And they did something similar to what you did, and it didn't happen the next day, but over time, they met someone who turned out to be their future husband, right? Whereas years previous, they were in wrong relationship or did not find their, if I can say, their knight in shining armor. So it's all down to faith. It's all down to your belief. And I don't know if you have this belief in God that God can heal you. But I have this faith because I said during the program, I've seen it. Chantal is a witness to it, right? She's here sharing her story. How are you today, Chantal?
Today I'm blessed and I have my bone flap replaced after 8 months.
Right.
I have my memory back. I can walk, I can feed myself. I don't need a bodyguard or because I had to be with somebody in the house or on the bus.
And your date of birth?
I don't remember.
You don't want to give it away, do you?
I remember my date of birth. I remember my house. I remember my family.
Are you back at work now?
Yes, I'm back. Yes, I'm back.
Right. What would you say to people, if you're looking at that camera there, what would you say to people who may have, or the same thing you're going through, or, you know, they have a terminal illness? What would you like to say to them?
I'll say to them, everything's possible. Do not give up. Believe in yourself and trust in God.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank
now, that's it. Trust in God. We support, as you do, doctors. They are there to help. They are like God, right? God wants the best for you, just like the doctors want the best for you. But you know that man, doctors, the professionals are limited. They can only go to a certain point. If you can receive healing through the doctor's hands, good. But where they are limited, God steps in, not when you say, "Where are you?" but you have to invite him to do the healing. You have to believe, first of all, that it can be done. Or at least have someone who has the faith for you, right? No one's going to force a prayer on you. No one's going to force God into your life. He's not going to come into your life unless you invite him in, right? It's like I'm a barber and I can cut hair, but I'm not going to go and cut the hair of every beggar. If the beggar wants their hair cut, they have to come to me. And it's the same with God. He doesn't force himself upon you. So I want to now invite you to get your glass of water. I want to show you a quick video now of the effects that terminal illnesses have on family members. And as soon as we come back, we're going to go for the prayer. Have a look at this.
I kind of went numb for a few minutes because I couldn't quite take it in. He'd got lung cancer and I could feel the tears coming. And I went to give him a great big hug. There's their wedding look.
Yes.
Rosemary with her two little page boys, Jonathan and Adrian. We've had some wonderful shared times in the last 6 months, laughing about some of the things that have happened, enjoying looking at pictures of things that have happened, reminding ourselves about special occasions in our lives. We've been given time to share our memories.
I think the reality was that there was many things that we would do together or that were connected that would never happen again. And that was quite a shock, that you realised that you had the time to think about these situations, that everyday little things like getting in the firewood for the fire, going to town shopping, feeding the livestock and all those things were never going to happen again. And that still is one of the difficult things to accept.
How much are you going to miss Claire, your mum?
That's a question that's impossible to answer. You will never not miss her. She's my best friend. She's my mum. I've loved her. She's the one I hug all the time and closest to me when I'm sad and looks after me. And I don't know how I'll react when she has passed away. I don't know how I'll act 10 years after, but I will miss her.
Everything I've ever done in my married life has been for my wife, and not to have her there it's going to take a lot of adjusting, which I can't even contemplate at the moment yet. But I don't know. You need to ask me in a few years' time, hopefully, and see if we've changed in any way. At the moment, it's something I can't even contemplate, is how it's going to impact upon me. It's just going to be like somebody cutting all my limbs off, I think. It's my support will be gone. Alright?
Yeah.
Every time I see someone like this, documentaries, my blood boils. I'm angry. Do you know why? Do you know why? I'm sad, I want to cry, but I'm also angry because I know that these people can get help. They can get help. And I want to offer this help to you who are sick. We have family members who are sick. I want to pray now. If you believe, you're going to get your glass of water. I'm going to bless it, and I'll tell you what to do afterwards. Let's go for the prayer.
Prepare now for the moment of prayer. If you would like a prayer for your general well-being, send your name and prayer request to prayer@findinganswers.tv.
My God, in Jesus' name, I present this water to you. And this person who doesn't want nice words now, they want to see an answer immediately, as Chantal did. So I bless this water now that they have in their hands. And I determine it like holy medication. If this person feels pains, this person feels something in their body not right, that doctors have not helped them with, though they've tried, then Lord, do your work now in this body and remove this cancer, this virus, this sickness, if it's affecting the brain, the blood cells, the bones, remove it now, my God, in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. You are the same God of yesterday, today, and forever. You are the same. You haven't changed. So do your healing work now in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Okay, I want to cut it now. I want you to drink this water and receive your healing now. Also, as you drink this water, leave some, and I want you to get a tissue or a flannel. I want you to wet that tissue or flannel, and tonight, if possible, I want you to place that tissue or flannel, if you can sellotape it or do something, stick it to the part of your body where you have that problem. If it's something general, then I want you to put it over your heart, and I want you to sleep with it. And I want you to call us tomorrow or any time during the week and tell us the results. All right? Look, we have short of time now. Here's proof. Here's a healing. All right? Have a wonderful night. We'll see you again tomorrow. God bless you.